How do I choose the best guardian for my children? You want to select someone who has a similar parenting philosophy and style that you have. You want them to be on the same page as you are and on how you would discipline your children and other things like that. You may also consider their religion and or spirituality and their decisions. That way you can make sure that they're in line with what your values are. It's also really important to think through parenting philosophy, style, discipline, educational choices, extracurricular activities, and that those are decisions that you really trust a potential guardian could make in light of what they know you would want, because you would be letting them know ahead of time, ideally. And to the extent that you actually let them know what you do want, it really does go a long way to help your guardian honor you and raise your children just how you would. So when we're talking about guardians, those are the things that I think are important to consider. Now, we're talking right now about long-term guardianship, and these are the people who would be actually raising your children. And that's a separate question from short-term guardians, which is what happens in an emergency situation. But going back to long-term guardians, what I like to caution people about when considering long-term guardians is not to just focus on whether they have a lot of financial resources or whether they're wealthy, or just relying on that fact alone when they're deciding who the guardians would be, because I don't think that money alone is the best reason to choose them. In fact, I never suggest finances in and of themselves as a reason for choosing a guardian, because ideally you would be leaving enough finances and support for your children to raise them and to get them through high school and ultimately college and beyond, versus having someone else put that money and be the ones to support your children financially. It's something that you should be planning for as well. So that's a totally separate decision in terms of what is the best way to handle finances for children and how to pay for raising them versus who really can raise them as closely aligned with what you would want in terms of how they are raised. And that is the best way, I believe, to choose a guardian.